Hi everyone, my name's Electric Donkey and welcome to another GameMaker tutorial. So, today we're back on the kind of beginners, how to learn a GameMaker type thing. And today we're going to be, this is going to be the last video, and I'll be briefly explaining views, which I'll go and do now, and I'll also go and explain a new event, which is down here, which is called a draw event, and I'll explain that event there. Okay, so for the time being, let's go and have a look at views. So if you remember, we had our room, and we put a player in here. So right now, let's just move it into this corner here. Oops. So what a view is you can have several different views. I think it's up to 8. And you've got some buttons here. So generally, I think this is unticked here. So you want to tick these two here if you want a view. This is what you get presented with. So view in the room. Now that is how much of the room it can see. So in this case, it's this little square running around here. This is how much, when we run the game, we'll be able to see. And the port on the screen is how much on our screen does it take up. So at the minute, all the way around the edge of my screen would be 1080 by 1920. It's a HD screen. So that's what this would be. But for this example, we're going to do 720, which is, I think it's the whole size of the room. Yeah. So what it'll do is it'll appear about this size. So it'll times this little square, whatever's in the square, by 2, and it'll appear on our screen times by 2 in this instance. You could change this to whatever size you wanted it to pop up on your screen. And then you've got object following. So in this case, we're going to keep it with the player. And here, what you generally want is roughly about half of this. So this is what it's following, so what the view is following, because you want it to move around depending on if you move. So what this is how much give it's got, let's say. So if it's half, it'll keep it directly in the middle and it can't move anywhere. So a bit less than half, it'll give it a little square that it can move around in. And I like to give it a little bit of movement. It makes it feel more dynamic. So for this case, we'll do half would be 180. See, 120 is good. So now if we run this, we should get a thing that's 720 by 720 pop up, but it will only show a quarter of the room, and it'll be quite good. And then we can also, after this, we can go in and do the draw event. So what the draw event is as it says, it draws something on. So we could have some writing that draws on, or we could have a number, or a shape you can do, I believe, or whatever you want to do. I'll briefly explain the draw GUI event. That's a bit more advanced. So you can see here we've got our view. And if we kind of move around a bit, it's a bit laggy because I've got this random number bit, but you can kind of see that we can, you know what, let's just duplicate this. We'll call this sprite block. So what we can do is we can make these blocks, and it'll just make it easier to define between where we are. So it's a bit of a landmark, if you will. Let's fill these bits in as well. So this will be our block, and then we can just go into our room. We'll have to make it into an object first. Let's make another object. Call it object block, and we'll have a sprite, and that's it. Also, go back into the player and the step. And we'll just use 2 slashes here and here, comment it out. so that it no longer runs and creates a lot of lag. And then, oops, forgotten to put them in. So if we now go into a room, and we can put some landmarks in. So let's put one in each kind of quarter of the map, let's say, because that's how much it should show with our view. So we should only ever be able to see one at a time, maybe two, I guess. Depends how far apart I put them. But you should only be able to see one. And this will show the use of views, because you could have something that's kind of hidden up in that one corner, and only when you go over to walk that corner, you'll see it. So you can see, yep, got this, and it moves along, and there you go, we can see we're on the next one, and we're walking around a map, basically. This is what we do. And you can see it's kind of got a bit of give, so we can go one this way, and we can go a bit this way, and we can go down. We should be able to find the other one. There you go. Yeah. So that's all working nice and perfectly. Now we'll do the draw event. So the draw event, there's several different. Let's add it back in again. So just this one, draw, and we'll drag over some code. There's certain functions that you can only do in the draw event, which all start conveniently with draw. Draw underscore, and then you've got all these functions here, and you know, a lot of them aren't that useful, but you've got a circle, got ellipse, a line, health bar, I guess that's pretty high score, you know, all this basic stuff if you don't want to do it yourself. But whatever you do, you've got to use this function here, which is draw self, and you just use it like that. Because if you don't draw yourself, anything in the draw event cancels out drawing yourself for some reason. It's kind of weird. So we can also do draw text. And for this example, we're going to do draw text color. It's basically the same, but it lets us choose a color and an alpha, which I'll explain when we get there. So the first value it takes in is an x coordinate. So we're going to say 20. Let's see. And for a y, we're going to put 20 as well. Then here we've got to put a string, which is also, it's got to have speech marks. Or you can have a variable, like, let's call it a variable, which can also hold that string. As long as it's a string, it'll take it. So we're going to call it hello universe. There's a bit of variety from hello world, because you get that a lot. And now it's asking for 4 colours. It'll kind of blend these together to make a kind of work, I guess. So we can have maroon. I don't know how this is going to look, by the way. Maroon. And then all the colours start with C. It's not a colour. Let's have blue and blue. And then as for an alpha value, so 1 is solid, and then 0.5 is half solid, and 0 is, can't even see it. It's going to go for 0.8, so we can still kind of see our player, but you know, we can underneath it, but we can still see the text as well. So that's it. You just close it off with a bracket. You don't need the semicolon, but for programming languages such as the C languages, you do need it. So it's quite a handy habit to get into. So now if we go and run this, it should work. Might not. It depends. It should do. I don't think the colour's going to be great though. I don't think maroon and blue makes a great colour combination. But I'm no artist, so no. So let's see. So yeah, here you go. It's quite atrocious, really. Yeah, you can see it's writing on. We can go over it. It's not interactable. It's just a text. And also, you can vaguely see it, but you can kind of read it over the top. It's just this very similar colour. So that is it, really, for this series. I think for the next series, I will be doing kind of. I was thinking of doing some extensions from an RPG, so things you'd like. So the next one I'll probably be doing is an NPC, so you can go and sell stuff and buy stuff. You know, that's quite a common thing. Chat boxes, stuff like that. things that you can implement into your own game as a bit of an extra. So, if you enjoyed this tutorial or indeed this series, like, subscribe, comment if you want more help or something, and I will talk to you later.